What's up, guys? Welcome back to JB Reviews. As most of you know, I have a 25 Corvette Z06, and you have pretty much seen all my videos of me getting the car wrapped. I got the window tint done, and today this is actually my first time actually washing the car myself. So when I took it in to get it wrapped, they obviously had to wash the car and get it prepped for the surfaces, but I wanted to show you on this side. I wanted to give you guys some pointers on cleaning gloss black wheels, because you can't just go in there and just scrub them, because believe it or not, these do scratch, and over time they don't look that great. So I recommend obviously using a wheel cleaner, nothing too harsh like acid. So this is a non-acid Meguiar's wheel cleaner. So all wheel cleaner, and I've used this for pretty much every car that I've had, including the cars I own now. And since this is my first time actually cleaning the wheels, I want to make sure, you know, obviously I get that clean look to them, but I don't want to damage them in the process. So the first thing you want to do is obviously spray down the wheel. If you want, you could use this first, spray it down really good, let it sit for about maybe a couple minutes, spray it off, and then start scrubbing. But if you spray this on, start scrubbing the wheel, obviously it's gonna probably scratch, but you want to get as much off of the wheel as possible. And if you like to clean the back of the wheels like I do, one thing I always recommend is you want to make sure that there's no rocks stuck to the back of the wheel, especially out back. That is something I've noticed when I've cleaned wheels in the past on my Hellcat and my R8. Sometimes over time you will see like a little bit of asphalt get stuck to the wheel, and if that brush that you use to clean the back of it picks it up, it's just going to scratch. So you want to make sure you clean the wheel really good as much as you can, and then feel with your hand on there to make sure there's no like rocks or asphalt stuck to the wheel. So this best recommendation I have. So I'm going to spray it down first, as I said, get as much dirt off of it as I can. Then I'm going to come back around it with the degreaser. I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes. I'm going to spray it off, and I use a bucket. I have multiple brushes, so here's what I recommend. You always want a soft brush, and you always want, you know, something that you can really knock the dirt off out back, so behind the wheels. And I have this brush here because, if you don't know, getting behind those brake calipers are a challenge. So I have multiple brushes so that way I can get behind there. That way I don't have to start the car and drive it up some to get behind those brake calipers. So yeah, have multiple brushes. I will put some stuff in the description here if you like. And this is just my intro. This video is about ordering your car. I know that you probably clicked here thinking, well, hold on here, I thought you were going to talk about the biggest mistake you'll make ordering your car. I'll get there, but this is just an intro, and I'm going to kind of explain some things to you guys. So really quickly, this is basically the before on this side. So this is before I cleaned it. And so all I did was use a soft brush on the front of the wheel, and then I scrubbed the back. I used this guy too, just a smaller brush to clean around the lug nuts, and I also used that to clean the brake calipers. I then used my blower to pretty much dry off the wheels, because you obviously don't want that water to dry on there. And now you have a pretty clean wheel. So what I'll do after I'm done washing the car, I'll use the soap from that bucket to pretty much clean the face of the wheels. So that's pretty much all I do. I mean, I think that not using tire shine is the best way to go. If you scrub the tires with not a harsh brush, but something a little abrasively knock off the brake dust and obviously dirt, I think the tires look so much better with the matte finish versus like a gloss. And then of course, tire shine is just messy. I hate tire shine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a quick time lapse of me just cleaning this wheel. By the way, I just got this a few weeks ago. I've used it a couple times. I still recommend getting a heavy duty power washer, like a gas one, if you want a true 3,300 PSIs. This is something in the description you can buy. It was just under $600. I think it's on sale right now. I love this thing. This is a pressure washer, hooks up to the wall here, and all you have to do is just run a hose to it. And yes, I also have this undercarriage washer too. So this is what we're going to be talking about here in a second, because as I said, there's a good and bad time to order your Corvette. And I ordered mine in what I call the bad time. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So here's the brush I use. It's an old brush, and like I said, it's pretty soft right now, but it's perfect for these tires. I do have a new one for my truck and my wife's car. And like I said, that was a little bit more abrasive, but those tires are a little bit bigger, so I don't mind, you know, using that, because as you get close to this lip of this wheel, you could scratch. So something like this is perfect. Nothing too abrasive. And this way you don't have to use tire shine, you get that nice matted finish on the tires. And now we're gonna go ahead and rinse the wheel. That way we can knock off as much of that dirt as we can, and we're gonna start scrubbing again. Up first, here is one of my soft brushes here for the face of the wheel. These are good for getting in between these spokes right here. And it gets the wheel nice and lathered up too. So, as I said later in the video, I'm not gonna probably show it to you guys because I'm not gonna make this video too long, but I'll use a microfiber rag and clean the face of the wheel again. That way I can get all into the crevices of the wheel. But yeah, this brush is nice and soft, and it has rubber sides to it too, so it doesn't scrape the wheels. So you want to get a brush that has those rubber sides. So I got this from maybe either Walmart or AutoZone, one of the two. Yeah, it's nice and lathered up. Next thing, so we have this brush to get behind the wheel, and I use Dawn soap inside my bucket here. So if you want to use the Dawn soap, I also use hot water. So I use my bathtub water, get the bucket nice and hot. That way you can really break up some of this dust on the wheels when you're scrubbing. Now this brush is too big, like as I said, to get behind the brake caliper, so I have this guy here. This one's perfect for cleaning up behind the caliper. That brush I also have that I just use, it won't get behind the parking brake either. So yeah, this one's perfect for cleanup. You can also probably squeeze in a little bit to get the side of the caliper too, like this. So it cleans inside of that caliper, cleans the top of it pretty good. You do have to scrub a little bit more with this brush, I think. It doesn't clean as good as the other one, but yeah, it still does the trick. So that's pretty much it there. I think I'm done. Last thing I gotta do, as I said, is just I'm gonna get the lug nuts pretty good. And this is really a deep clean. I don't do this every time. I probably do this maybe once a quarter. I'll get this deep. But I don't recommend even clean your wheels with a brush every time. I would just use wheel cleaner and just use a power washer and just clean the face of it, because you don't want to scratch the wheels. I think when you wash them too much, you're just going to get more wear and tear. So Sometimes it's better just to, you know, use the wheel cleaner. That way you can knock off as much as the dirt as you can. And if you want to use a microfiber rag, I mean, that's probably the best way to do it, but these brushes over time are going to scratch. Because as I said, sometimes you get rocks on these wheels that you can't feel, and it does get picked up in the brush, because I've seen it scratch some of my wheels in the past. All right, so we're going to blow off the wheel. Now I do clean the wheel well too with these two brushes here, but I want to spray some degreaser on both sides. The front has plastic, the rear has carpet or fabric material, whatever you want to call it. So that one's pretty much already sprayed down, just letting it sit. There is already a nick on this wheel here somewhere. Right, is that it? No? So yes, these wheels are not that great. I don't know why they don't put a black coating behind the wheel. That way you don't have like a silver, like, damage point on the wheel, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. It's like this, right? Like they should just make the wheel black. That way when it gets damaged, you don't see like the little nicks in the wheel. It's right here. See right there? A little bit of a nick already. Not even 1,000 miles yet. Let's talk about it. The worst time to order a Corvette, whether it be a E-Ray, Stingray, Z06, even a ZR1, is in the wintertime. The reason why is because when they deliver these cars, it's on an open trailer. So I'm gonna show you guys some footage here. When the car got to the dealership, the day that it left, that truck pretty much went through a winter storm warning. And obviously, you know, truck drivers, they ain't scared of nothing, so they're gonna drive through that winter storm. So when my car got to the dealership, I did notice already some of my bolts on the car are rusted. So in my mind, I was thinking, golly, like, what the heck? So when I saw the car on the lift when they were doing the PDI, I looked underneath and you guys see all of that grime. All of that grime is from the winter storm that truck went through. So obviously when they do the covering on the car, it's all great, but in the wintertime, there's no protection because it's on an open trailer. So obviously what I have to do is I have to basically degrease the engine area, because I'm pretty sure because of the draft of the truck, there's probably salt inside of here that I need to wash out. And I need to use my undersprayer too to try to get as much as that salt from underneath the car. That is why I did this video, because if you are planning to order your car, you do have another way to go. If you want, you can do a factory pickup basically at the museum. I think it's a Corvette museum. You can pick up the car. I could have just towed my black trailer down, picked it up myself whenever I felt like it, when all the winter storms passed, and then I could have just brought the car home in my trailer. Or I could have had someone ship it for me, either way. But I think that's one option you have. Or if you do have a dealership that's willing to do this, and I need to ask Jerry Seiner, because I didn't ask them when I was there because I didn't think about it. I'm willing to bet you they're willing to probably take off some of the paneling and spray down the car to get some of that salt out of there. Now, maybe for some people it's not that big of a deal, but if you're planning to buy a $150,000 car and you plan on keeping it for the next 20 years, last thing you want is salt sitting inside the engine bay. Because as I just showed you, this nut here, the car is only a month old, already has rust because of the salt that was inside of this area. Now, this area got cleaned out, but yes, that is something that you have to consider when you buy these cars. These cars are expensive. When you buy a Lamborghini or Ferrari, you do pay more money, but those cars typically get shipped enclosed. Sometimes they even get shipped in containers, like wooden containers. So they take it out of the container when it gets to the dealership. But yes, I don't know if Corvette should offer an option for enclosed delivery, but it would be expensive, obviously. But if you do plan on spending $150 plus, whether you get a Z06 more expensive than mine, or if you get a ZR1, this might be something to consider. Because as I said, there's salt in the engine bay of this car, and there's salt on the undercarriage of this car. And any nuts and bolts that are obviously exposed to salt over long periods of time it's gonna rust. So yes, this is something to consider if you are planning to order your car. I would have the dealership just see how much it would cost to have them spray the undercarriage on a lift. That way they can get a nice cleaning, and they can spray down the engine bay too while it's nice and cold. They can degrease it, because I'm gonna degrease it because, again, even though the car is brand new, I knew that there's still salt sitting in here. So I wanna get as much of that out of there as I can. And then I'm gonna spray it down, and like I said, I'm gonna use my undercarriage sprayer to get the rest of it out. I wasn't gonna show this, but I figured you might wanna see it. So as I said, I'm just gonna spray down the engine bay here. Try to get it deep. I'm gonna use this entire bottle too. I'm gonna spray it from each angle. Like I said, just to try to get as much. Oh yeah, and I forgot, I do use my wheel cleaner for the exhaust tips too. But I figure I'll just use this because there's quite a bit of this in here. Spray all back in there. And really what I want to happen is this stuff to hit the ground. Because as I said, I want to get all of that salt, grime from when the car got delivered. So that's it. No more. These bottles, they go really quickly, so you gotta spray quickly. That's it. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit, spray it out. And I'm gonna show you guys my underbody cleaner here. So that, I have to use my front lift because the car sits too low. I'm just gonna spray under, and you can use as much pressure. This thing's not that strong. I wouldn't use like a true gas 3300 PSI. I would turn it down a little bit personally, but this should be enough pressure for the engine bay. And when I'm done spraying this out with the water, we're gonna use the blow dryer again, get as much water out of there as we can. The engine is actually cold too, by the way, so you don't want to do this on a hot engine. And yeah, like I said, this should hopefully alleviate any rust in the future, because I'm not gonna drive this car in wintertime. Let's see if you guys can see this. Here we go. Here's the biggest gimmick in car washing. This is the biggest gimmick. I don't care what anyone says. Absolute gimmick. Here, let me make it a little bit more. Oh no, that's not it. I gotta go the other way. Here we go. I just want you guys to know I never use this thing because this is a gimmick and you lose so much soap from doing it. But you know, hey, I get it. Some people just like the gimmicks and I just figured I'd put it on camera. Now I would use it for this. It is good for that. She is all done. She looks so good too. I gotta do a video on why unless I've already done it, on why I should have got carbon ceramic brakes. This is one reason right here. Wish I would have got those carbon ceramic brakes. I kick myself every single day about it. I know some of you guys said I made the right choice, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, the car is clean. And I guess I should start showing you guys a rundown of what I use. I'm not a big soap guy. I just use whatever Costco has. But yeah, look at this. She is clean. So much better than it was. And I can tell that it's a lot cleaner too, just, you know, from just that spray down. I mean, granted, like I said, it wasn't that dirty in the first place, but yeah, it came out perfect. Sorry that it's so dark. But hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. I did a comparison with the 2L and 3LZ. And yeah, I think that if you are in the market for a Z06, that might be a good video to watch if you're thinking about ordering one. But man, the car really did come out good. And let's just check out the front. By the way, this area, it gets really wet, by the way, so I had to wipe all this down too. So I was shocked by that. Maybe it was because of the blower too. Maybe the blower like pushed the water through, but yeah. Later.